Hello, and welcome to the Spiral Dimension. I'm Doctor Von Hoot, and this is a passage from Grease 2. Stephanie tossed her rented shoes into Dolores' arms and made a rude grunting sound. Davy walked by, holding out the scorecard, ostentiously checking off what they all knew.
Don't you think that's kind of weird? Not weird, but like exciting weird.
Oh, girl, I've been there. I've been there. I love exciting weird, girl.
So yeah, as I like to start the show with a little bit of Grease 2, the novel. Because
Let me. I would love some of that Maxwell Caulfield Grease from back.
Another one.
Oh boy, Higgins hitting us with his DJ Khaled impression. Nice.
It ruffled my feathers.
Rob,
And now there were 4.
I was just praising you moments ago. Sunil knocked my socks off.
Oh,
He's absolutely
amazing.
fabulous. Yeah. No, like I said, he was our very first guest when we rebranded, and forget the books. Just as a gentleman with stories and a storyteller and a conversationalist, he's so engaging. He's phenomenal. And then, to have him back on again is absolutely great. And let him showcase such.
It would have been nice if you'd brought some better books, Rob. Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, he was kind of myopic in his focus,
I was really disappointed that he didn't have that Action Comics number 10. I know the struggle is real.
He could have put a bit of effort in. That's all I'm saying.
You'd have no idea how much effort he actually put in, because for a month he's been like texting me like, okay, I'm prepping. Do you want to see a list of books and to approve ahead of time? And he's sending me pictures of like the books stacked up and all these different things. I'm like, dude, you're cool. Just surprise me, man. I mean, I know one book that'll be there. The rest of the books will be whatever.
Such a good guy. He honestly is just, but genuinely nice as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
exactly. It's actually annoying how nice he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did enjoy the Battle of the Commonwealth.
Yes,
with the super chats. That was
super
great.
chat war.
The United States
welcome.
will not be left out. Screw you, cancer.
Do we have another one? I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Can we get Terry?
Oh, lovely shirt.
Yeah. Unfortunately, your audio's off the deep end, I think, Terry. Well, we'll have to move. Next time we'll get it sorted.
Poor Terry's been
Okay,
crying
well,
all day.
hello, everybody. Hello. There's only one thing left to do, and we've got to open Parliament.
You all right?
The Parliament of Mowls has assembled.
Just like true birds, they just multiply.
As always, Las Cruces first in the chat. Paul from Sector 2815. Well, War. How you doing, sir? There's this guy. I know him.
As Chris would say, omnipresent.
Omnipresent, yes, every time. Dead Man in the chat. Always a pleasure. Oh, cool. Wayne Deacon. KBDM. Old Wolf.
Tony.
Hey. And the other Tony.
And
Commonwealth.
Tony.
Yeah, he's away tonight, but he'll be back next week, I would think. Kyle, my dude. Love Kyle. He's a great guy. And that's us up to date. So,
No, you got more.
have I? Oh.
Yep.
Ah.
That's what.
Ah.
Never gonna
To be
live that
fair,
down. Never going to live that down, am I?
yeah, I think it's okay. You can both be favorite Americans.
I made the mistake of
Oh, you can go with
referring to-
you don't have to go with one of us. You can
Yeah.
just go with
Oh,
some,
true.
you can just say, "Oh, you know, my favorite American was
if
Abraham
I
Lincoln."
am-
Just go.
Cliff.
No, if I am not one of DVH's favorite Americans, I'm going to be upset forever.
This is not about me. This is all about Peter.
First of all, Cliff,
If I am not
nowhere here does it say the question isn't who are your favorite Americans. It's just who is, meaning it's one and singular.
I know, but I'm in denial because I just want to be included.
Well, I think the first order of business is always I would like to make a motion before Parliament that we review the minutes from the last meeting.
So, Peter,
I
who
mean-
was your favorite American? You obviously stepped in it. I need to know.
I made the mistake. No, sorry, that sounds terrible. I referred to Rob as welcome, Rob, my favorite American, and Efren, who I do a lot of shows with, absolutely kicked off, and he's never let it pass.
Efren, you have a long history with, and he was there
He was.
in the at the, and it
You
was
don't
like,
even see him as an American anymore. You spend so much time with him.
That's right. That he's just a brother. Do you know what I mean?
I've
He's a
seen him
brother.
on hundreds of your live shows. You know, he's the
look at
only
you guys
one with a funny accent.
digging out of that quicksand.
My God.
Wow.
Yeah, I like to use the line, one of my favorite people on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, in general, I live by one motto, and that is that I never use absolutes, except to say that I never use absolutes.
Yeah.
It's fair. It's fair. Right, shall we move on to?
Well,
the
there's been no
first slide?
second, so the motion fails.
It did. It failed. It's over. So we asked the question: what watch you with your eyeballs this week?
Mm-hmm.
Cliff,
Oh.
what watch you with your eyeballs this week?
The Acolyte, House of Dragons,
House of Dragons.
My Adventures with Superman, and a lot of Kim's Convenience because I had never seen it before. So I'm streaming that and getting to know and love it. And that's it. Everything else is on the YouTubes.
Very cool.
How is My Adventures with Superman? I watched the first episode, I want to say, but I haven't caught any of the rest of it.
I just give myself to it, and it's delightful. However, is it still one of the worst versions of Amanda Waller ever? Of course it is. It's everything I hate about her in the comics. They've taken that and they've gone running with it in the show. She's horrible in both places now. It's great. But I thought it was going to be like, I thought I was not going to enjoy the weird takes on his like crew, but the Mixoplick episode actually sold me on it. I really loved it, where Mixoplick is snapping his fingers and poofing Clark into every other version of Clark, you know? And he's like, there's infinite numbers of you out there. And I was like, I like this. And it was that same episode with the Council of Loises. So these multiverses of Lois, you know, picked up Lois and like we're just using her to get to Clark.
Super.
I loved it. After that, I was like, the show has had me in its grip.
That sounds really fun. Like, just a good fun time. Gonna have to have a look. Because I did like the first episode. I wasn't, taken aback by it.
If you think that is the worst version of Amanda Waller, have you seen the dancing Amanda Waller at the end of Suicide Squad Isekai?
Yes, and you know what?
That's disturbing.
Yeah, you know what? We deserve this. I told Mark that we left that character unchecked for too long, and now our eyes had to pay for that.
Oh,
I love that. Just so you know, that's one of my favorite outros of anything ever.
I'm gonna try and recreate that for Rob's next birthday.
Oh, yeah,
that would
I
be
have to see
something.
that.
That would be something.
I wonder if I can get my lips to gloss the same way.
What about you, Pete? Watch you with your eyeballs this week?
Well, what have I watched with my eyeballs? I've watched I'm behind. So I have watched the last episode of season 3, I want to say, of Superman and Lois, where we get the transformation of Bizarro. That was just, I've loved that. Absolutely loved that series. And I've said on Instagram, I think my passion for it is, I love Superman. I love a bit of Superman hitting big monsters and things like that. But the topics this show covers, like first season, mental health, this season, breast cancer, just done pitch perfect. You know, the emotional, just superb. Other extreme, latest episode of The Boys with a Spider-Man type person shooting webs out of his butthole. That was interesting. So watch that.
It's a separate
separate. Well, yeah, because someone tried to use it the week before. So that was interesting.
It was spinnerets.
Yeah, quite enjoyed that. I have watched The Acolyte. I've also, just to try and cleanse my palate from The Acolyte, I've watched some of my best Star Wars this week, which was Tales of the Empire, the first 4 episodes of that, with the story of the I don't know her name. She was in Ahsoka, the Night. Is it the Night Witch, the Night Queen, the magician woman?
She's a Night Witch. She's a Night. Yeah,
so
Night Sister.
The Night Sister. That's it. Yeah.
Sorry.
So you get her kind of origin over 4 little mini episodes, and I absolutely loved that. That was brilliant. Went to the cinema and saw Longlegs with Nick Cage. That's interesting. So yeah, watched a fair bit.
You've got a review of that on the channel, right? The One Good Scare channel.
Yeah. So over on One Good Scare, we'll have that out, I think, tomorrow. We've just put out a review of another film which we both saw last week, which was I want to say Something for Violence. It's like a Friday the 13th homage. Dog shit. Just friggin' awful. James loved it and said it was all very artsy and stuff, and I said it was cack. Didn't do it for me at all.
Okay, it's very hard to shift from slasher flick and try to put an artsy spin on it. You've got to be quite brilliant to pull that off.
Yeah.
You know,
or pretentious, depending on
pretentious. But even still, I mean, we've gotten some great works from some pretentious people.
That's very true.
Did you ever see this one where it's a documentary crew and they're watching this young man train to be a serial killer, right?
Yeah. The Rise and Fall of Leslie Vernon.
Yes,
not seen
I
that.
thought that was a great take.
Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Yeah.
I thought that was a great take on an old horror trope, and of course that they are
really good.
These stupid filmmaker kids not realizing that, hey, don't you think you're going to become victims?
Yeah, no, I've not seen that one. I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, you should definitely look at that one for your channel. It's like 2005-ish, sort of that sort of territory. Really, really good. Highly recommended.
Longlegs was interesting. Now, Longlegs is getting a whole host of kind of, a bit like we got with Blair Witch. Oh my God, it's the scariest film you've ever seen in your entire life.
Nah.
Was it shite? Yeah, it wasn't. It's interesting. It's worth watching.
Okay, so a violent nature, you say pass, but Longlegs, if you fancy it.
But that's just me. James loved a violent nature. I was bored to tears. It just wasn't for me at all. But I went in expecting to watch Maxine because it was a secret screaming, they called it. Oh yeah, I've seen Maxine as well. That was interesting. Yeah, beat the cinema a lot.
Yeah, busy week. How about you, Rob? What watch you with your eyeballs?
Well, as a 50-year-old American with a recliner, I've watched the inside of my eyelids for quite an extensive amount of time while attempting to watch other shows. But I have managed to watch about half the wrestling that I intend to watch for the week. I've watched The Acolyte, and I managed to get through Beverly Hills Cop Axel F.
Oh, I've not seen it yet.
Did you go all the way through it without sleeping?
I did. I watched it.
See, that's a sign of quality right there.
It was like I thought that. Well, again, none of these films would ever. If we would just say these are like great pieces of cinema, but they were very fun, and this continued that tradition. It was a good fun flick. It's been a long time since I've seen a cop shoot 'em up the world film, the lone wolf cop against doing doing everything type stuff. And I realized I missed that a little bit. You know, it's not necessarily the most what we get today's, but yeah,
I really enjoyed it, and
I really enjoyed it.
A worthy sequel. Let's put it that way.
Definitely more worthy than 3. Even though Eddie Murphy has never spent so much time on his ass in a movie. Like every opportunity he is sitting, every chase scene he is driving. That man didn't have to run not 1 second in this film. And the way they kept finding reasons to give you so that his ass didn't have to run is fantastic. But also, Eddie Murphy dropping insults and F-bombs left and right was refreshing. I miss that Eddie.
It was also one of the most unrealistic films I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not talking about going up against AK-47s with a 6-shooter. I'm not talking about driving right into the middle of a kill zone surrounded by guys with stuff. I'm talking about having a captain who's been on the job as a captain for 20 years without retiring. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was fair, he was teetering on retirement.
He should have retired many times over. My sister, she's been a captain of police force, and she doesn't care where anything else is. She's just she's all she cares about. The job has changed since she was started, and she can't wait to hit that number for max pension payout, and she's out. And that's how so many of these guys are.
Right. So just in and out.
Yeah, well, they've managed to survive.
Yeah,
and especially if you're relatively in one piece. I mean, it's. So anyways, it was a lot of fun. Go ahead and watch it.
Yeah, I agree, and I co-sign that 100%. It is worth a watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially if you're already a subscriber of Netflix, you're already paying for it. So
you're already paying for it. Might as well. So what I watched with my eyeballs this week, the Gladiator 2 trailer came out.
Yeah.
Well, I thought to myself, I have not seen that film in 25 years or whatever it is. So I thought, let's revisit Gladiator. And I'm really glad I did, because it is awesome. It's every bit as good. It holds up really well. Yeah. If you like your sort of sword and sandals, swashbuckling, doesn't get better than Gladiator. That is top tier stuff in the action stakes, as well as, it has a bit of a heart and feel to it as well. Really like it, and I'm really excited for this second movie, just to see if they can pull off something quite good. That's all I want.
I wasn't excited for it until I saw the trailer, and then I thought,
they nailed the trailer. Yeah,
looked really cool actually, and Pedro looked amazing.
Yeah,
and Pedro was phenomenal in it. So
perfect casting. What else did I watch?
The Iron Captain America. Oh,
yeah.
I did see the Captain America trailer. That was very exciting, but felt very much like I should have been watching it 5 years ago. Yeah. Like, it doesn't... I mean, I like the way that it sort of feels like an old style. I mean, it shouldn't be old style. It should be current Marvel. But you know what I mean? Like, it's quite grounded relatively. And
the character...
real locations and things like that. So
practical shooting, which is good, and the character is a grounded character. It should take place in reality. I mean, in this particular version of Captain America, anyways.
Yeah.
As long as you can look past a guy flying. I mean, aside from that, I
I do that all the time. To be fair, the Iron Claw, the film about the Von Erich family.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch that. Tell me.
Is that the guy from High School Musical?
Yes, yeah, Zac Efron.
Zac Efron.
He's playing Kevin Von Erich. And if you're familiar with wrestling, then you probably know the story of the Von Erichs already. But if you're not, then you're going to be like, "Wow, this is great."
It's great.
It's very good. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a warm, bubbly, happy ending, you should look for a different film.
It's a very tragic story that's very well known in wrestling, and I think maybe that I suffered with the fact that I already knew everything and I knew more. Like I know more about what happened, so like maybe it didn't sit as well as someone that was going in blind. But I would recommend it if you're a fan of sort of bleak dramas and like horrible things happening to people.
Oh yeah, I'll give it a go. I will give it a go.
I went in blind just to see these 3 shirtless men, and it delivered for me.
We got 2 different wings. Cliff says, I'm going to watch it for the shirtless men. And Pete heard, if you like dreary films about people with bad things happening to them, well, damn it, I'm in.
I'm in. I mean, the only other thing I'll say in relation to Cliff's point, the only thing I know about that movie is some of the press shots of Zac Efron with his shirt off and that wig. And looking at him thinking, you could play He-Man. You could do a good He-Man effort here because you looked amazing.
Okay. But all 3 of them looked amazing. Okay, like let's not stop for 1 minute. Don't think.
Cliff's not kicking.
Let me tell you that was as bleak as that ending is. It was a multi-viewing opportunity. I highly approve.
I feel like we had very different viewing experiences.
As a quality film, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Period. And if you're into burly, sexy men throwing fisticuffs and the grunting and all that,
you're tired of watching Magic Mike.
It's 4 out of 5 for the because you know what, Magic Mike is too pretty and too nice. This gives you everything you're missing.
All I'm hearing, Cliff, is that it's a little bit visually like this panel. Is that what you're seeing? It's a bit like this panel. Is that what we're seeing?
In another part of the multiverse, yes.
Ooh, brilliant.
The Mowliverse, please. The Mowliverse. Yeah.
I don't know about in the US, but in the UK it's on Amazon Prime for free now. So you can check out there. I'd give it a cautious thumbs up. Give it a watch, but it's depressing. And I also watched a documentary called The Truth versus Alex Jones, which I'm not going to go into because I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to talk about Alex Jones on YouTube. But it's a good documentary. It's worth a watch if you get a chance to. If you like the idea of watching a guy, lose because he's a loser and a horrible person.
I don't think I know who he is.
By the way,
remind us who he is.
He's like a conspiracy theorist website host.
That's
like
not the guy who Greta Thunberg got caught. That's not him.
He likes to wear the foil hat.
He's very, very popular, unfortunately, I would say. Like to the point where they talk about it in the documentary, something like 25% of Americans believe what he says, which is insane.
In our defense, you guys never sent over your cream of your crop.
Yeah. Oh, I disagree. I watched Biden's NATO address. It was spot on. Spot on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's what I've been watching. I do recommend that documentary if you're into that kind of thing, because I dislike the man very much, and he got his comeuppance, sort of.
Iron Claw is on Max here in the United States for anyone interested.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you. In which case, we'll move on to our next topic. What read you this week? Cliff, what read you this week?
What did I read this week?
No. What read you this week?
What read you this week? Explain. I'm sorry. I'm lost. Did someone read me for filth in public?
Just assume.
Like a drag queen.
That's how Mowls talk.
Do you not speak Mowl?
What read you this week? What read you this week?
While Cliff thinks, do you want me to mention two books I've read?
Crack on.
which
So-
Cliff might have read as well. X-Men.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a glowing review if ever I heard one.
I
All right,
expected
so-
so much.
I forgot about it. I read X-Men and I read the Absolute Power spin-off. So I haven't been buying books for weeks now, and I'll pick something up just so I'm in the know, and I pick things up to be in the know, and I really enjoyed the art on X-Men, and I like action, but it was like pointless action. It didn't feel like it meant anything. Like, we're fighting the U-Men, okay? Like,
Yeah.
I can't, like, 2.5 out of 5 stars, that book. Just total mediocre.
It was such a crushing blow for me because I wasn't the biggest fan of how the Krakoa era ended. It lost its way, I think. So I was hoping this was going to be a big, exciting relaunch for X-Men. And it just wasn't. It was the same old stuff. And I didn't particularly like the art, I have to say. It didn't hit for me. I think 2.5 at best for me out of 5.
It's like, it was like, I like Stegman. You're right. He was not knocking it out of the park. And again, much like I chastise JRJR and I say that his art team makes him better, in this case, I'll say Stegman's art team made him less great. It was a rougher read than I had planned.
Yeah. I mean,
But it's an interesting team, and I love me some Kid Omega. It's like the next issue could really kick it into high gear.
Yeah.
Or not. We shall see.
I'm a massive Magic fan, so I'm hoping she has more to play in the series. But I thought at points Beast looked like he just looked ill. It didn't look like Hank McCoy to me, you know. It was weird.
I don't think that was so far. And of course, this is supposed to be, you know, Stars and Garter's Beast, right?
Yeah.
Because he's the one that survived. So, like, okay, that sounds cool. I'm trying to give it a chance. 2.5 though.
Transformers. I read the latest issue of Transformers as well.
Yes. Yeah, I read Transformers. Yeah.
Quite enjoyed it. It was good. I'm enjoying the artwork
was okay.
still. It's it didn't blow us away, but it was okay. You know.
I
Probably
think
a
this one
3.
felt quite sort of filler-ish. Like I'm always hesitant, but it's okay for that because it's like it fills the story, but it doesn't it's not the meat of the stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the setup.
I did like the idea of, and correct us if I'm wrong, is it Cliff Jumper who was on the moon?
Yeah.
Who hitched a ride on the you know.
No,
that's
no.
the NASA shuttle.
Oh, bollocks.
I don't think
It was Beachcomber.
Beachcomber. It was Beachcomber.
Yes.
Yeah, Beachcomber.
Yeah.
I liked that. I thought that was quite fun. That he sat on the moon for years and years and then jumped on the.
That was really
the
fun.
NASA
Yeah.
shuttle. Yeah.
And then nobody noticed that the
of
capsule was using a little bit more fuel to get it
Slightly
escape
heavier,
velocity.
wasn't it, Rob?
Yeah,
It was slightly
yeah.
heavier. Yeah.
Of course, we don't really know the alloys that Transformers are made out of. They could weigh almost nothing for all we know.
Yeah.
This is true.
Very true.
I can't believe. I mean, granted, yes, we're transitioning segments of the story here, but I absolutely continue to love this run on Transformers and that the stuff with Shockwave and the stuff that he's doing is like he's the freaking Joseph Mengels of fucking Decepticons, and where the other Decepticons are like, we don't even want to just walk away. We don't even want. We need him, but otherwise, let's just go about our business. We don't want to be around for this.
The idea of a Decepticon that the other Decepticons don't want to be around is just great.
So for me, I always remember from the cartoons and the comics, my memory of Shockwave being a big bad guy. Do you know what I mean? But I don't remember him being like a evil, if you know what I mean. So that panel totally threw me when he was like talking about the majestic beauty of the creatures, and then the next page you see what happens. I was like,
let's just drain them.
Yeah,
and then he's taking Ravage. Oh, forget him.
Yeah.
Just forget.
He's sealed his own fate there. They're clearly leading to Soundwave, taking him on over that because nobody messes around with Ravage. We've already seen that with Starscream.
When you read the book, I think I might have asked you this one before. When you read the book, do you hear the voices in your head? Because every time Soundwave speaks, it's reverbing I'm hearing the kind of,
100%. Yeah.
That's
Like
yeah.
there are specific characters more so than others. Like Ironhide, I always hear of it like very thick Texas sort of accent because that's how he was. And whenever he's not like that in any of the media, it really drives me mad. Like there was that Netflix series, and they had Ironhide in it, and he just sounded like any generic American guy.
Yeah.
Whereas like it's just
Tell you
Steve's
what
got
else
it.
tell you what else I read, just keeping on the nostalgia theme. I have been absolutely devastated with how poor I think Thundercats has been. I really look forward to that, but just awful.
From day one, I called
dreadful.
it Thundercats No.
Yeah, just horrible. But then Chitara came out, and I thought I'll give it a go. Please, different team, different writer, different artist. And it was just all right. It didn't. I'm hoping issue 2 picks it up a bit. It's definitely better than the main title, I think, but it's still not great. Whereas the G.I. Joe stuff, Scarlet and Cobra Commander and all that stuff, is stellar. Loving
By the way, can we talk about how great Void Rivals has been?
amazing. Like really, really good.
Like
I think the thing is,
coming book.
I expect Transformers to be good because it's DWJ, it's Transformers, so I'm always going to love it. But Void Rivals has really upped its game in the last few
since
books.
Springer came in for me. It's
been really fun.
Superb.
So I've been reading Batman and Robin. I think that's been a fun series. It's separated away from everything that's been going on in the main titles, but I love the father-son dynamic, and I love that they're setting up now that Batman and Robin are gonna have to take on Bane and Vengeance. So we're gonna father-son versus father-daughter, which ought to be interesting. Of course, Amazing Spider-Man, which I continue to suffer through. Ultimates.
You're a better man than me.
Just going on Spider-Man, Rob. I'm halfway through Reign issue 1. Have you read any of that yet?
No. I've cut out all the spin-off series and all those things. It's just the only thing I care about really is Ultimate Spider-Man, and for that I continue to that and Transformers. They're so good into me that I am doing everything I can to make my voice heard of that to these companies by buying so many variant covers to sit there and like ASM. I'm doing that. Transformers, I've been doing it. Although I did stumble across an on sale advert here for a Transformer cover that there's just no way that I can do this one. It's just wrong to me. I don't know what you think, DVH. I'm popping it up here so you can share it. But it's essentially, this is big time Prime. We got a Prime teabagging blaster with graffiti in the background. And on top of that, big time Prime here is showing off his fingernails. Look at it. He's got fingernails.
No.
What?
No.
I mean,
That's almost as bad as Tigra with a tash.
But this is an homage cover, right?
I don't know what this is. This is somebody trying to put some street. I mean, I like the Transformers covers that are just traditional kind of, show me some robots fighting other robots type stuff. I don't think Prime needs to hang out and try to be hip hop. And
I don't mind the hip hop variant sort of thing, but I do have an issue with him having fingernails for some reason. That's insane. That really, really bothers me.
And of course, it does say graffiti behind him. It says "Big Time Prime." So that means that somebody he just stumbled across this graffiti and decided to pose in front of it, or he put the graffiti there to pose in. I mean,
yeah. I don't hate it, but I don't like it either. So I wouldn't buy it. Like it's
I wouldn't pay $5 for this, let alone 30. So
no.
I mean, there are some people who have to have every hip hop variant. So I guess there's that.
Thank goodness I'm not one of them. Well, that's not even really one. That's not really with the hip hop variants. That's just a.
Well, that's what I'm looking. I know there's the Marvel hip hop variants.
Yeah.
But I'm looking this up to see if there was any similar intention here whatsoever.
I mean, the crown on the background is sort of quite biggie-ish, but
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I'm
Not for
out.
me. Not for me. Tell you what else I read. I mentioned it last week and asked if Rob was going to be reading it. The Annihilation 2099.
Ooh.
Yep,
Picked
skipped
up.
it.
Well, spoilers ahead. I picked up the first issue, which was the Nova issue, which was actually really cool. I enjoyed it. So it's got very much a Judge Dredd vibe to it. So he's kind of Nova, but with guns, lawmen, going around kind of stuff. And then there's a twist at the end, which they have kind of spoilt with the cover for a couple of issues' time, I think. But turns out, are you happy for spoilers, guys?
I already read it and I approve.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so
I
spoiler.
have no plan.
Anybody
I have
there
no
yet?
plans to read it. Yeah.
So it turns out that the Nova of 2099 is Wolverine, Logan, embedded with the Nova Force. And actually it worked really well. I was intrigued to read more of that character. So it was interesting.
Yeah, that does sound quite good.
I loved it. I found the surprise akin to that of Frank Castle being the alternate future Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
I was very pleased. I was like, yeah, Logan would be alive. Yeah.
Fuzzy, you're right. 2099 has been all over the place ever since the initial series run stopped. The whole universe has been rebooted multiple times, and it's just a mess. It's now just like a playground for Marvel. It's why I refuse to read most anything out of 2099 anymore.
Welcome to being a Legion of Superheroes fan. You're welcome. Join us in the Probable Future Misery Club.
Did anybody catch Geiger issue 4?
The last one I read was the one where they were going to the library and it ended with the dog being kidnapped. Is that 3 or 4?
Okay. Yeah,
That
so
3.
this is the new one. Yeah,
No, I've not read
it's
the new
just
one
after
yet.
that.
Okay.
I think it's sort of this issue brought it back up to sort of Rook level for me. I was very excited by it. Like I thought it's got a lot of potential in it, and I won't spoil anything, but like I just thought like it looks awesome, it reads great. Geiger is top stuff.
And you
Any
mentioned
other
Rook.
books?
You mentioned Rook there. Rook has been phenomenal.
Yeah,
You guys,
it has.
the rest of you guys reading Rook? No.
I mean, up until I stopped buying, I was, and everything Geigerverse I was happy with. I felt everything set up a tone and story, artwork phenomenal, writing solid. Jeff Johns really built something here. And as soon as I get my life back on track, I will happily go back to reading those books.
I mean, you're probably better off getting the trades anyway, ultimately.
That's how I read most of my stuff in trades these days.
But with the Ghost Machine, it's a bit like Rob with Transformers variants and Ultimate Spider-Man. I'm all in on the Ghost Machine stuff, so I get every issue I can get my hands on, each variant. Love it. It's really cool. So to be excited about something every weekish is great.
I read the Black Label Zatanna series, issue 1.
Oh yeah.
Zatanna Big Hat or Black Hat or something. I can't remember what it was. That was all right. Didn't blow us away. It was all right.
I'm sorry to say that I was reading the news while we've been doing this. Did you guys? Well, this is from a legitimate news source from ABC News. Richard Simmons has passed away.
No.
Really?
Yeah, according to his rep, Richard Simmons has passed away.
He disappeared for a while, didn't he?
Well, he got away. He went away from everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's horrible.
Sad times.
Dead
He
at
was one of the-
76, multiple confirmations.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And I'm so sad that the only time he's popped his head out lately has just been to be like, I don't want a movie made about me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really sad. You won't see another character like him on TV, like a mainstream television.
Yeah, despite despite what everybody, said about him and everything, I mean, he was, he did a lot to try to make people feel positive about themselves and try to help them improve themselves. And, that's something that, gosh darn it, the world could use more of, right?
He did it for that young man on the Ellen DeGeneres show, which is a completely true story. And there was even a follow-up interview with that young man where he went to the place that used to be Richard's studio in LA to work out. And he's like, it was nice there. It's not like it was in the old days, but like I may go back there. And I was just like so like sad because like you could just hear in his voice that it was like that era of his life is over. But like when Richard told him, come to me, let me help you, he practically lived in that place, he said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, there you go. And it's saying,
plus, I loved him on General Hospital. I loved him on All My Children. I loved that Richard Simmons appeared on all those shows as Richard Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, he's an interesting one because for Pete and I, like, it's not like we have, like, because he was a daytime sort of TV character, wasn't he?
I think
so we were exposed to him, but that's sort of a testament to how big he was. Like, he existed. Like, I understand who he was, and like he's our version of Mr. Motivator, basically.
Well, his big thing was, back in the 80s when the all the fitness craze was going on of direct to video stuff, the sweating to the oldies stuff. I know, just going, hey, look, you don't have to do these crazy workouts, just get up and move. Type of thing. And that's what he was just trying to do, is get people to just get up and move and be active. As we sit here and don't move and discuss these things, where is some
an idea? I might make my own fitness video, like, because everyone wants Hoot.
Mowl on the move. Mowl on the move. That's what you're gonna call it. Yeah.
It's just me dying for an hour.
try to pick up a short box, put it back down again. Pick up a short box, put it back down again.
Yeah, that's enough. Twice.
I'm definitely gonna make a Slim video. I am inspired.
Well, I apologize for derailing this session of
Parliament. No, that is worthy news. But if any stretch, our condolences to anyone that knew him, really. Like, and he was interesting. Like, I was always sort of fascinated by him as a pop culture character.
Yeah.
Mal question time. So this goes out to the chat. What question? What burning question do you have for the panel here, for Parliament to discuss? Please put it in the chat, and I'll start us off with. Would you wear a leotard to do a workout?
Yes. You've seen, I've filmed it and put it on YouTube.
You've done leotard stuff.
I've done the whole David Hasselhoff running across the beach for YouTube. Yeah.
Because I'm tempted. If I get a group of us together, we could do a homage to Richard Simmons.
How much
I'm
money?
not doing that to our audiences. I'm not going to put through it.
I mean, let's be honest. For the right price, almost anything is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the right price, yes. Oh my God, Rob! What if you get like $1,000 donation to common skin cancer on that condition?
Yeah, I think it would probably have to be a little bit more than that. But
what's your price point?
Let's
put it out there. What's your price point? You do it for Comics Curing Cancer.
If anyone donates $50,000 to Comics Curing Cancer, we'll all get in leotards and sweat to the oldies just for you. Donate $50,000 today.
Oh God.
Rob's like, what are you doing, Cliff?
I hate putting on denim pants, let alone anything else.
Leotard.
Let alone a leotard. Yeah, right.
I don't know. All I can tell you is that I think of myself in a leotard and offensive words come to mind. I'll let you figure out the rest.
Yeah, I
nuts.
think I lost about 50 subscribers doing my video. So, yeah, I don't think it was well received.
But did you put on the question is though, Pete, did you put on the leg warmers?
No, but to be fair, it wasn't a leotard. What I did was I did a Baywatch homage. So I got in the red bathing suit that Pamela Anderson wears.
Okay. The Pamela Anderson wears. So he wore the one piece like
Yeah.
his,
Oh yes, he did. Yes, I've seen it.
Yeah.
so
Magic Badger has seen it as well, and she was
scarred,
traumatized. Was
I don't doubt it. I mean, I'm just picturing, my image of a pasty white ginger running across the beach in a woman's
Stunning.
bikini.
Honestly, the stuff of dreams, I tell you.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Stuff flopping out that probably shouldn't be flopping out. And,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow. How did you get your hair to bounce?
Bottom.
So no questions from the chat. Come on, chat.
Give
Give us a question.
I have searched all the big and tall sites, and none of them make a male leotard.
No, they
Well,
don't. You're right.
I think nowadays you got to go to today. You have to go to like Lululemon or something and get some like jogger pants or something or yoga pants.
Yeah, but Izod makes for the finer man. They make a stretch zipper leotard. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't believe we got so much time out of that question. I'm very pleased.
I know.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so no questions from the chat. So let's move on. Okay, if you've got a question, now's the time, Cliff.
Since you enjoy horror so much,
Yeah.
which horror trope is like the most frightening for you? Like, which situation do you go, shit, I could be in that situation? That's really frightening.
Well, could be in the situation because I don't like. I find like the supernatural possession stuff more frightening than anything, but the reality is that like the slasher stuff is actually more likely in so much as like somebody could just pop out and stab me. I quite a big fan of 70s Italian giallos, which are basically whodunits crossed with slasher movies. And they're really well made often and very suspenseful. And there's something really creepy about them at the same time because they're sort of so real feeling, but not real. It's hard to explain.
Well,
But
that's okay.
quite stabby. Quite stabby.
Come on, yeah, everybody knows that as the Mal is heading back to the roost from his night at the pub, and he's venturing down some dark alley. Pete secretly is following him from behind. And just as he rounds the corner, he thinks he hears a noise, and he turns, but nobody's there. And as he turns back to move forward, suddenly Pete emerges from the shadows and just sticks it to him.
See, that is perfect. I couldn't have said it myself. The
I feel we should film that. We should film that, shouldn't we?
Yeah, next time, like Thought Bubble will make a short slasher movie.
Yeah,
like we'll do it. Just go on Weatherspoons.
We'll do it like Maxine. We'll do it like the trailer for Maxine with all that kind of 80s music and pop culture colours and things. Like that. It'd be great. It'd be great.
Yeah.
And then me as Pamela Anderson just comes at you. It'd be great.
By the way, short note, Maxine is brilliant.
Yeah.
Listen, the movie's doing more than you think.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting. I prefer X. X is my favorite.
I will agree, but I appreciate the work that went into Maxine.
Yeah. In answer to your question, Cliff, the thing that probably makes the hairs stand up on the back of my neck most is the ghosty type stuff. And actually, I think I was talking to Von Hoot about this. I went to see a theatre production a little while ago, 222. Don't know if you've got that in the States yet. It's a ghost story, but a live kind of ghost story. It was just phenomenal. The use of sound and the lighting and the shocks and things. And it's a very simple ghost story. But I could literally at points, the audience, you couldn't hear You couldn't hear everyone was just deadly silent, and you could feel the hairs on your arms, and it was just amazing. So that's the kind of stuff that scares me the most, I think. Rather than slashers. Slashers are just a kind of bit, whatever.
Well, look, I meant what kind of trope do you see yourself in? So like you could see yourself haunted by a ghost and absolutely horrified.
Anything that involves running, if that's what you're talking about, that terrifies me. Yeah,
That would be bad. I spend like a ridiculously large amount of time discussing with my mate at work about what we would do on Z-Day when the zombies finally come. Like, so I can absolutely see myself in sort of the zombie apocalypse because I spend so much time discussing it. Like, but am I frightened of it? Not really. Like, I think it'll be quite fun. I won't last very long, but I'll have a good bloody go. And yeah, like that's I think when I say the supernatural stuff, that actually frightens me a little bit. Like, you won't get me doing the Ouija board, for instance. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, it's just never going to happen because I don't want to poke the bear. Don't poke the bear. That's my advice. I just think it's a terrible idea. So I went, funny story, I made a documentary when I was at uni about this place called the Ram Inn, which is in Gloucestershire, which is like supposedly the most haunted building in Gloucestershire, whatever. So it's a really, really old looking building that's sort of made its money based on being haunted these days. And I refuse to go at night because I'm not poking the bear, like I said. But I did go during the day to interview the guy that owned it. So I did, like, we set up the cameras and everything like that. And what I will say was I've had no experience with ghosts and stuff like that. The outside of the building was in Gloucestershire, which is routinely the hottest place in the country every year. And it was the hottest day of the year that day. And
so
when
was
you
that
went
like
into
24
building,
degrees?
no, I mean it was hot.
Scorch.
It was legit hot, and inside you could see your
28.
breath. So I don't know whether that means anything, but like it was enough for me to go, yep, I don't need to be there at night and poke the bear.
So not far from me in Sheffield, I was talking to one of the guys who we've got a big horror con called For the Love of Horror that myself and James go to every year for our channel. And there's an ex mental asylum basically down not far from me, Sheffield, where they do ghost hunts and you can stay overnight in the asylum, as it were. So I'm going to do that next year, I think, get that recorded because I think that could be fun. So if you're more than welcome to come along, Von Hoot, if you fancy it.
Not a
We do
chance.
those. We've done several with the scouts where they're on some of the naval vessels. So the decommissioned naval vessels and submarines and stuff where you'll do these sleepovers and whatnot. And some of them have some quite fascinating stories that people tell of, supernatural stuff from, of course, those were active vessels during global conflicts that had people not leave the ship alive. So, yeah.
I see a question from Fuzzy.
Oh.
Anything
What
that
is
Sony
wrong?
puts together.
Yeah.
I just realised I was muted there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, like Rob is spot on. Sony.
So that must mean
Just-
that must mean Craven. That's the next one up, right?
To be fair, nobody
Oh my
expects
God.
Craven to be good, so it might actually be mildly entertaining.
That's what
Let me
everybody
tell
said
you,
about
I could watch
Morbius too.
I could watch
Yeah.
that man. I could watch that man kick a garbage can around for 2.5 hours shirtless, and I will be entertained. Craven will not fail me. Okay.
Okay. Aside from being softcore porn for Cliff,
yes, exactly, exactly. So those of you who need that good softcore Craven porn loving,
Cliff, we need
join
to
me.
adjust your idea of what's worth watching because there's a lot of internet out there that you don't have to waste your time on. garbage.
It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. My God. But yeah, it's just like,
I'm
Woo!
sorry.
I forgot. What's that
Sorry
movie
to
supposed
say.
to be about?
Because there's a lot of good-looking women that appear in a lot of schlock films I don't watch.
I'm sorry to say, I'm very cautious about Captain America. I think that's going to be a bit of a dumpster.
Well,
fire.
yeah, given that it's been reshot as many times it was. I mean, realistically, I mean, the trailer for it looks interesting, but it doesn't really do anything.
And I'm not on board with Marvel's recent CGI attempts. So Red Hulk has got the potential to look like crap, you know. So
I mean, all we got out of it is essentially we established that they're going to acknowledge there's somebody new playing the role.
yeah.
We got that there's going to be a Red Hulk, and we got that he's still got the shield.
Yeah.
That's what we've got out of it, and he'll fly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
He better
It is-
fly with
it
that
is
budget.
worrying.
yeah, right. Yeah, 375 million with that's the route everyone's saying. Those numbers are legit. That's you're never
Wow.
recouping. You're
Oh
not
my
recouping
God.
that much because you still
That
have to
is
market.
Crazy.
Yeah, you still have to market it, so you're never going to recoup
Yeah, that's
unless
insane.
it does 1.2 billion, which we haven't seen movies do that recently.
No, it's not. Yeah. What are you thinking about Agatha? Are you
Inside Out
excited for that?
2.
I'm
Inside
sorry.
Out 2 has been knocking out of the park. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Agatha, I'm more interested now I've seen the trailer, but still, like I think I know what I'm going to get with Agatha, and I think it will be fine. Like even from the trailer, like it doesn't excite me per se, but
I haven't watched the trailer yet, but I'm just when I hear it and everything else, I'm feeling like, how does this move? My thought process is trying to figure out how does this move the Marvel universe along, where we're at today versus where we were or something. It's like I'm just trying. I don't know that it just seems like it's going to be this extra. Oh, we already kind of said and committed. We signed. We have these actors that we've paid contracts to. We might as well use them.
People like the song. People like the song, so there go. Let's make a full series of it. And I tell you what else is going to be. I think a car crash. And I've got no real justification for this. Just the trailer did nothing for us. Is the new Hellboy movie?
Oh,
I just think it looked dreadful.
No, that one looks super dreadful.
It looks badly made, but it could be good if they have some exceptional editing and talent involved in the production.
Crow seems to be getting slaughtered as well by the reviewers. Not that I take much attention on the
Yeah,
reviewers,
I heard that a lot. Yeah.
Unwatchable is what a lot of people seem to be saying, which is
that's worrying.
Interesting. Yeah.
The problem with movies, sometimes movies like that, if you're going to go back and redo some of them, when the original is viewed or revered so much, regardless of whether or not the first movie really was that great of a movie, but because of the association of the actor and the death and everything else, it became revered. That it makes it really, really hard to go back to that property and do something with it and revisit it type of thing. So
I was gonna say Selma Blair did such a great job too. I mean, they all knocked it out of the park.
Ooh, sorry, Cliff, I missed that.
Selma Blair did such a great job in the original Hellboy. But all the actors,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Hellboy 2 for me is an absolute masterpiece. I love Hellboy.
I love Hellboy 2. That's the Golden Army, right?
Yeah.
That's the one. Like it's from start to finish an excellent movie. Like whereas Hellboy, the director's cut is pretty good, but Hellboy 2, like it's hands down the better movie.
And I tell you, if we're talking movies, what's got us a little bit despondent at the moment, I just want a good Blade film, but I feel we're never going to get that anymore. It just seems to, every time we take a step forward, they lose a director or they lose a writer or they lose something else. I think we're not far away from losing the main actor in it.
In an ideal world,
didn't they lose the main actor already?
They haven't yet, but we're pretty close. I don't think. Like in an ideal world, I want the Agatha show to sort of spin into what they did with the Werewolf by Night, and then lead into the Blade universe, sort of like, so it's the Marvel universe, but it's like the supernatural era of, like, and it has to be sort of grounded like the Werewolf by Night was. And if they can do that with Agatha, then it gets me, yeah. But what I think they're going to do with Agatha is going to be, so
Agatha only needs to do one thing right for me. Give me Wiccan.
Yes.
That's it.
He looks good in the trailer, mind. He does look good in the trailer. Yeah. But I want to see him in costume.
I don't know how this boy is supposed to be Wiccan. I don't know how they're going to make it all come together. But I love him. I love him from his Netflix series. I love him screaming like a little gay boy when that weird girl is coming at him like an arachnid. I love it. I'm here for it. Everyone's like, who asked for the show? Every gay mofo who has loved Catherine Hahn since the first Mean Moms movie, or whatever that Moms movie was. We're all here for her.
I think that is a good point, because I think the audience for this show was quite clearly a different audience than the Captain America audience. And that there's crossover, don't get me wrong, but like it's not the same thing, and people shouldn't expect the two things to be in alignment. Like, it's a very specific tone in that trailer.
Did I read something last week, or glance past something last week, saying that they've pulled the plug on the planned Young Avengers kind of side?
Yeah, they canned Young Avengers. Yes.
Yeah,
that's a shame. That's a shame.
It wouldn't shock me if it comes in the far future, but as of right now, it's in
And the entire speculation market crashed.
Yeah.
It changes nothing about me and my relationship with the Young Avengers. I love it. And you know, if this means that I could pick up more copies of #1 along the way, great, because I thought it was a great series.
Yeah, me too.
Phenomenal artwork by Jim Chung. I love the characters. I wish Marvel understood what the hell to do with characters more often. I think Avengers Children's Crusade, super fun. It was just one of those. It wasn't like the greatest book ever, but I love that every issue ended on a cliffhanger. Every issue was a cliffhanger, and like a big dramatic cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah, I love that run as well. But it just seems such a strange
dramatic cliffhanger.
Cliff loves a good cliffhanger. It just seems such a strange decision, because they've literally been kind of drip feeding members of the Young Avengers into all the TV properties and movies and stuff for the last couple of years. So it was obviously very clearly planned, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it made sense to, if nothing else, at least make a Disney series out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, they've got a whole like Ironheart series already shot.
Yeah, but
they're just not going to release it. It's ridiculous.
Or even if not, isn't it? Even if it's not a series, even if it's just a direct Disney Plus movie or something.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Sometimes I wish they would do that more rather than these 8-issue series, because they end up stretching out content and stuff when the story doesn't need to be that long.
But they make a big deal, don't they, about, you know, oh, we've got a new banner, we're going to call these Marvel Showcase, and we've had what, 2? We've had Werewolf by Night in the Christmas special. Give us a young Avengers,
which is really one movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
to
one
be
thing.
Fair to them, I think that suffered from the writer's strike. Because there was supposed to be one, the Werewolf by Night black and white version came out instead of there being no one. I think that's the deal.
No, the Werewolf by Night color version came out.
Yeah. I meant color. Yeah. I would love to see more like shorter one-offs like that. It's a good place to test new ideas and to give people that maybe, like, because that Werewolf by Night one, wasn't he like just an artist or something? The guy that directed it was
a musician.
It was a musician, was it? Exactly. So you give somebody else the creative reins and you let them do something in the world.
Do you know what? I'm sick of. It's like they're not listening to us, Von Hoot. I'm sick of seeing it every Halloween. Give a 45-minute to an hour kind of Marvel horror special. Werewolf by Night, a Dracula, a Blade, a Moon Knight, Man Thing, something like that. You know, that's because for me, Werewolf by Night is probably the best thing Marvel have put out in a long time. I
Yeah,
absolutely
it
loved
is.
it.
I think that Agatha is coming this October, so we won't get that
Yeah.
this time round. But it's sort of filling that spot in their minds, I think. So I think it's time we tackle any other business. Are there any other pressing issues?
Well, we press issues before we have them slabbed.
See what
Very
you did
good,
there.
sir. Very good. Tip on it.
Oh yes, that was a good gag. So, well, let's go around the horn. We've done an hour or so, and I feel like it's time to wrap things up because I'm very hot.
Oh, really? Are
I'll
you
be
now?
honest.
Let's ask
Oh,
Cliff.
Wow,
Cliff,
wow. Come on,
Cliff,
straight,
how hot
straight.
is Dr. Von Hoot?
Right now, a 2.5.
Oh,
2.5.
2.5. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Okay, Cliff, what you got coming up
On
on YouTube?
God, like it's not always on, you guys. Jeez.
Well, I mean, look, you're in a sandwich right now between Pete and Dr. Von Hoot. Oh, goodness.
I know, but this is like a sloppy meatball sandwich, not a fine Italian sub. You know?
But sometimes,
that was my,
those sloppy meatball sandwich are the best.
sloppy
That is
meatball
a
was my
fair
nickname at
description
school.
of me,
Yeah.
if ever there was one. That is perfect.
So, and it's missing Parmesan cheese. But
Well, maybe he has a
What I
shower
ha-
in a week.
what I have coming, what I have coming up next week on Comics and Coffee with Cliff, my guest will be Mike from Super Slabs. So I'm
Very
really
cool.
looking forward to, helping introduce him to the other side of the YouTube, because I absolutely am enamored with his collection, and he's a lovely fellow. And I hope I hope that I can continue to interact with people that broaden our community.
Bringing people together, Cliff. That's what I like about you. That's what I think. It's like the melding of two worlds.
Not to mention, I'm trying to break his shell so that we can get him on Only Slabs, because
Oh yes.
it's just like his collection is insane. The wall behind him when he does his videos is every issue of Static from the original series in a
That's
9.8 minus 4 of them. 4 of them are not 9.8s, but it's the whole series slabbed. And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Very
So
cool. Very
he's
cool.
lovely, and I'm looking forward to this. Super Slabs.
Well, I'm not familiar, to be
I
honest.
know, that's what- Trying to bring us all together.
I'm intrigued. I want to know about his Super Slabs. Pete, what have you got coming up?
I got a load of videos out as usual. I've just put out a signed Stan Lee book, which came in the dirtiest bag I've ever seen.
Yeah, that bag, that's
Dirty.
pretty grim. Did it
Dirty,
smell too? It looked like it smelled.
Yeah, it did. It didn't taste very nice either. So yeah, that one's out at the moment. Monday night I've got my art show. So we've got a group of we're 5-minute challenge art. We've got John Lees, who's a horror writer, and also Alex Cormack, who's a horror artist, on the show for that one as well. So quite a lot going on.
Tremendous. Rob, what have you got coming up?
Shows. Next show would be Monday, so therefore Monday mail call. Thursday's video will be I think we're going to focus on the Comics Curing Cancer donation from Team Ohana, as they sent a box full of slabs. And then
That's awesome.
then the following Saturday is going to be that special pre-recorded special. We'll have a live chat, and there will be a giveaway opportunity within the that special, whereas Chris and I review our top 5 pickups thus far this year, and they all had to be slabbed. So I mean, anything that we had that was raw had to be omitted from the from that.
Oh, nice. I look forward to that. It's always a shame when you're not on, but I'll have to, I'll have to watch what you put up. and then just
it'll run
stare
at the
off.
same time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly the same. And me, I have a video coming on Monday, and then I will be back here next week for this, probably. So,
Does it feature an AOK? Have you gotten that yet?
I don't think so. I don't think that's arrived.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, to be fair, I rarely look in the hallway, so it could be here.
I'm going to check. I'm going to check because I just want to make sure because I paid for priority shipping on that.
Oh, really?
So I want because if it normally it would take like weeks to get there, but I paid extra, so I wanted to make sure it got there safe.
Okay. I'll have a look because it could have been. They could have attempted a delivery and maybe like I wasn't there.
No,
so
it shows that it's in transit still for some reason.
Okay, so maybe tomorrow.
Interesting.
Monday, rather.
And it says what's my estimated delivery date? I said I shipped it on the 5th. Priority mailed in. Well, doesn't have an estimated delivery date. Interesting.
Intriguing.
Huh. All right. Well, at least I know it's on its way still.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll keep abreast of that, as it were. And I'd like to thank everybody for watching and for you fine fellows for joining me in the Parliament of Mowls. And I would like to end this episode by what was it that you did last week? I've forgotten.
Oh, I would like to move that we adjourn this.
It's a move. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we move to adjourn.
Yes. We need a second.
I second that motion.
He seconds that motion. Motion carried.
Oh, no. First you have no.
Sorry.
Parliamentary rules would say first you have to say, is there any discussion?
Okay.
Seeing that there's no discussion,
Yeah.
we'll move to the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All right.
Opposed? All right.
Nay.
The motion is carried. We stand adjourned.
I'm never going to get the hang of this bit. Like this is the official Rob's ending of the show. I'm going to have to clip it and have it at the end of it.
Yes.
We're going to get you, and you'll get when you get the full blown parliamentary procedures as you move from one topic to the next and everything. It's going to be fabulous.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
And I don't really know. Well, I suppose no.